What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're going to be doing a playthrough video for the latest treasure map up against Kuzan slash Avalo Pizarro, I guess. Pizarro is the final boss, Kuzan is the intrusion battle boss. We're going to do a live playthrough here. Of course, we're going to do some runs, and hopefully we can get some good bosses, some good drops, of course, and give you guys a bit of a rundown about what you can expect with this boss. Some of the gimmicks are a little funky, and we'll talk about them as we go along. So let's go ahead and jump in. We're not doing this on a secret bonus map, so we're not guaranteed to get the bird. Hopefully we do get the bird, otherwise if we don't, we're gonna have to reset the video, but we'll see what happens here. We do have this little sea cat card, which I'm gonna use. I just come off of a secret map. Should have recorded the last one. It is what it is though. Let's see what we get here though. We do get a 2, so we get the bird. Fantastic. So that's great way to start off. You always want to get the bird wherever possible. For those of you who don't know, it gives you 1.5 additional bonus points. It gives you additional statistics. Definitely use it whenever, or get the bird whenever you can get it. Now, personally, the way that I kind of like to tackle this is I just like to try and get to the final boss as fast as possibly can. Obviously, depending on what your goal is in the TM, you could go down a different route, but I kind of just want to get there as fast as we possibly can. So we get an additional movement, which is kind of nice. And then, of course, we have Kuzan himself. So the Kuzan, the intrusion battle boss, can be definitely a little bit tough, and I don't blame people for going out of their way to reduce their difficulty in this TM. You know, when you start a TM, you can choose what difficulty you start on: New World, Grand Line, East Blue. I wouldn't, put it past people to just go to a lower difficulty, because the TMs, at least this year, have been really brutal. This is the team that I've got here. No changes from my own treasure map preparation video, I think, for this one. Let's go ahead and run it. So Kobe obviously is the mainstay unit. He's the unit that this whole event kind of revolves around. With his gimmick and his captain effect, whenever you use a special ability that provides you with a territory, he removes 6 turns of bind and 6 turns of special bind, which is very powerful. I kind of wish he just had the innate ability to remove it, like he didn't have to use a territory special in order to get around it. It is what it is. I'm sure that he will be better as, time progresses, where we get more characters that can actually apply territory. It's going to make Kobe better in the long run. But as for right now, it's a little weird. Now, honestly, if you have double Kobe, you don't need to run this setup. You don't need the Garp support. You don't need Luffy on the team. But Luffy is here to fulfill a certain role. We're going to use the Kobe Super Type to remove the special bind, the Kobe special ability, which we'll play it again because it's the brand new Sugo Fest exclusive. He will go ahead and remove the special bind from activating his special, because it gives us an orb boost. It grants the territory, which triggers the captain abilities of both Kobe's at the same time, which removes 6 turns of special bind, 6 turns of bind, two times over. So it's actually 12 turns, which is great. Gonna use the Luffy special here because we have the support of Ace. Ace will remove 2 turns of Rainbow Shield, 2 turns of Blue Shield, mainly here just because of the Blue Shield. And then Nami's special ability will remove the Resilience and the leftover Rainbow Shield. So this deals with all of the gimmicks on this stage, and we can go ahead and move on. And then Kuzan, of course, he's gonna revive. He's gonna retreat. We go over to the next stage, stage 3, the final boss. And then we basically just use everything else. We have our character is going to be binded, and of course, if you activate a bind removal effect, he does remove your beneficial effects, and I think he inflicts a despair to your team. So the way to get around it is through Kobe's ability in his special, which will allow you to remove the bind and the special bind from his captain ability trigger, and then that doesn't trigger it, because you're not activating a special to remove bind, which is really key. So we're going to use the Hina to remove attack down, remove defense up, and then we have the Usopp, which can remove the damage threshold, and then from here we can get the win. So there we go. Full team of Sugo Fest exclusives, easy as you like. Of course, full team of Sugo Fest exclusives. Not the most accessible, of course, but it's what I've come up with for my own personal teams. The TMs have just been so ridiculous, man. So ridiculous in terms of the gimmicks that they've been applying. And it wouldn't be as bad if the boosted list itself was actually good. That's honestly the key issue, is that the boosted list is terrible, on top of the gimmicks getting more difficult, meaning it's really hard to get those high point boosts. It's very tough. Now, I usually would just use the slingshot here, but because I kind of want to show off all my teams here, we're not really going to be triggering that. And then we'll just go ahead and make our way towards the end here. I'm not really a big fan of this Sea Cat card. It's probably good, honestly, when you're not at the 10 million point threshold yet. I guess early days it is a good card to get you a lot of points really quickly, but it's definitely not my favorite, honestly. It's not my favorite. Okay, of course we land, you know, just before the boss. Oh, he's gonna give us a 1 watch. Yeah, of course. That's exactly what happens. Oh my god, just wasting my stamina for no reason. Okay, let's get into these mini-boss fights. Now, these mini-bosses are really funky. This first one here against this mini-boss, Avalo Pizarro, very, very weird. Now, I have slightly adjusted this team because what I have done is I've put a new ship on my crew. This ship gives me additional HP. And that is important because what happens is when you kill this mini-boss Avalo Pizarro, he's going to continuously revive until you have a capability of tanking his death hit. So the reason why I was running this initially is because I thought I could just go ahead and just tank the hit and then revive with Luffy, and that would be that. But he continuously will revive unless you are able to reduce the damage and survive the hit. If you continuously die, he will keep reviving. So this is actually a really bad boss fight. This can make you quit a run if you don't have capabilities of getting around this boss. Very, very funky design here. So we're going to go ahead and use the EX Super of Luffy, which is going to transform him into Gear 5. We're going to use Karam Wanda Special to reduce the cooldown. We do need another set of cooldown reduction, so I am going to use the Nami Karina Special ability. And then we can go ahead and use Luffy Special. And the whole reason why we're doing this is because that's going to remove 1 turn of enemy's beneficial effects, so it removes the damage cap. Now, you can look at our HP here is at 90,000. He does an 80,000 death hit, so we will have enough HP to tank it. He's going to do the death hit, and because we tank it, he revives, and then he's going to retreat. If you die, and then you revive with a gem or with Luffy's revive mechanic, he's going to just stay alive, and he doesn't run away. It's really annoying the way that he kind of works, so basically you want to tank the death hit, then he runs away. So yeah, very, very strange boss against Avalo Pizarro. Going to move on now to our secondary boss, which is up against San Juan Wolf. The team that I have here is a little funky. It's not the greatest team out there, but it does get the job done, at least at the moment. If things change, of course, we'll have to shift the team, but it doesn't have a full team of shooters. We are using a non-shooter, but this character does have slightly more points than the character that we had in this position previously. So that's the whole reason why we're doing that. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to do normal attacks for the first turn. And then on stage 2, we can go ahead and use Izo and Okiku, which do a really good wave clear, and as well as giving us a 3.5 times chain lock for 3 turns. You know, you could also save that if you wanted to for the final stage, but you do see that San Juan Wolf is surrounded by a couple of mobs, and we remove the bind because of Kid's captain ability. We have the support of Lucci to grant a 1.5 times color affinity boost to shooters. Kid's special ability here will also have the support of Akainu to grant a full board of strength slots and a 1.5 times attack boost to strength. And then we can use the secondary Kid special to do some additional damage here, which gets rid of those mob characters surrounding San Juan Wolf. And then we go ahead and get that dub. So even though our crewmates get special reversed, it really just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter at all, which is nice. Okay, so we're going to move on now to our third Battle Rush boss, and that character is going to be, I believe, it's Vasco Shot. Vasco Shot is actually also kind of easy, well, so long as you have the applicable characters. They want you to use versus Shanks, and they want you to use Dorian Broggy. Those 2 characters are the key ones here that allow you to kind of get around all of the gimmicks. I'd say the most important character for this fight is Dorian Broggy, because in terms of boosted units that can work under, like in a slasher team sense, that remove special bind, there's really not a lot of them. But you want to remove 7 turns of special bind, and just generally, if you have a look at the pool of characters in the listed, the boosted list for the TM, there's really like no one that removes 7 turns of special bind. It's a very, very annoying amount in this event. Dorian Broggy are like the only character that actually remove that special bind by 7 turns. They also have the ability to remove 7 turns of burn, which you're also inflicted with on this stage. And because we have a slasher captain, we get a bunch of beneficial effects because of that. So we're going to have some supports here. We have the chain boost and color affinity support just to give us a bit of bonus damage because it just speeds up the process. Now, normally what you'd want to do here is activate the Shank special as well, but with the Dory and Broskiis special and our supports, we don't really need to do that yet. The enemy does have a territory up as well, which does give them some damage reduction, so in order to get around that and give yourself more damage against the enemy, you can go ahead and use the Shank special. It gives you a ton more damage, but at least in the early stages of Treasure Map, probably not going to be that big of an issue. And then the final Battle Rush boss is up against Shiryu. Now, look, I'm running a really weird team for this one. The problem with this boss is that they really want you to use Legend Garp. And the problem is, I basically have like no Legend Garp friends up right now. So what I have resorted to is I'm just going to use like a friend Luffy because he boosts the units on my crew. And it doesn't really matter because with the specials that we have, we're going to be able to get around it. It's not going to be that big of a problem. The main issue on this final boss is that he stuns your crewmates. So when you're inflicted with stun, you can't really interact with your characters at all. The only way that you can remove stun is if you have an ability that cuts your health or does damage to you, or the enemy does damage to you. So the way that we're doing it is we have the support of Rare Recruit Pudding attached to Sanji. That will trigger on the final stage to do a 20% health cut, which will get rid of the stun. And then there's like 10 turns of blue shield increased defense, which is very frustrating to get around, and 6 turns of rainbow shield, and also any type slot is reduced of damage, which is why Garp is good, because Garp does a health cut, Garp gets rid of the defense up, he generates non-type slots, so Garp is perfect for this fight. But what we're going to do here is we're going to use Frankie's special. So Frankie will remove 5 turns of the defense. He does remove some of that rainbow shield as well. Hina removes the rest of the increased defense. And then we'll just go ahead and use Nami's effect. So Nami will go ahead and give us the conditional boost against paralyzed enemies. And then we can use her special to remove the rainbow shield and also give us the paralyzing effect on the opponent. Give us the base attack boost, the chain boost. And yeah, that's going to be more than enough damage to deal with Shiryu for now at least. Again, not the most optimal thing. Ideally, I would use a Garp friend captain. But if Garp's not available, then this team will still work even with Garp. So if we get Garp, it's cool. It gives us a little bit more points. If not, not the end of the world. And then we can finally have a look at the final boss, which is against Avalo Pizarro. And of course, we're going to be using Kobe as a friend captain once again. The thing with this team is it's kind of interesting, is literally half the team doesn't even matter in terms of what it is. Like, with the way that I have my team structured, only the Luffy and the Kobe's really matter. We do have the support of Law on Beppo, which does definitely help, but I mean, you could replace it with other types of attack down removal in other ways, right? You could use like the Guild Tesoro ship to remove a turn of attack down as well. So there's lots of different ways around it. So Kobe and this Luffy are going to work together really well here. So on the first turn, we're going to get through it. Stage 2, we have a mini boss Kuzan. And on this stage, it's Pizarro, sorry. It's not Kuzan. It's Pizarro. He's the mini-boss, not Kuzan. So on this one, you see that we are inflicted with the bind on the middle row. So a lot of people may take this strategy to try and like remove it on this stage. But honestly, the best thing to do is to probably just ignore it and then like remove it on the final stage when you have Kobe friend captain. So Kobe can remove a bunch of stuff for you. The thing is, though, is the Eye inflicted with despair on the final stage, which can really hurt the way that you kind of use Kobe's effect. Because if Kobe is despaired, when you use Kobe's special to give yourself a territory, it's not going to trigger his captain ability to remove effects. So, yeah, there's positives and negatives to that. But with Kobe's effects activated, there's really not much else we need to do, so we can just move on to the next stage. And then we have a look at the final stage. The final stage doesn't really have a lot of gimmicks, which is kind of nice. It's a nice change of pace, but there is still some things that you do have to take into consideration. So, as I said, there's a bunch of despair on this stage. So it's 10 turns. It goes down to 7 after the preemptive attack and the sockets and stuff. You have attack down as well. So we've removed 4 turns of attack down just from our 2 supports that we had on our crew. Now, what we'll do here is we're going to use Kobe's super class, which gives us the tandem and stuff like that. Kobe's special ability, which of course removes the damage nullification. It gives us an orb boost. And then we can activate the Luffy. I forgot about the support of Opera attached to Kobe, which removes 2 turns of despair. Now, this Luffy is level limit break 5. You do need to purchase him from the treasure map exchange. Very, very good, though, because it removes the despair, removes the attack down, just removes basically all of the other debuffs. And, I mean, that's all we need to do. We can activate the Beppo as well to give us a color affinity boost. Not really required, but it does give us a bit of bonus damage. And that's that. At least for now. As we get a little bit deeper into the TM, things may change in terms of how we approach this boss. But as for now, seems to be working relatively well. So my whole goal for this treasure map is to probably just get to 10 million points, and that's pretty much what I'll be doing. I don't really see myself going too crazy in this event, but it is what it is. That is going to wrap it up from me though, so thank you so much for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.